What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Mika Chanel, back with another edition of Mika Chanel is Just Saying. Okay, we're talking about the Real Housewives of New York City reunion. I guess I'll talk about the second part of the reunion as well as the third part of the reunion. I didn't really think the second part of the reunion was all that eventful. There wasn't much going on. Really, the only thing that I got out of the second part, other than a bunch of back and forth, was the fact that Heather and Dorinda are no longer friends. I think we kind of got that during the show, but I didn't realize that they were like really like on bad terms. You know, like Dorinda. Basically, I mean, I really don't know what happened with Heather and Dorinda. I mean, I guess that like the whole argument that they had in the Turks and Caicos just kind of trickle over. It honestly, I think it's kind of silly. Like, cause I really don't even know what either argument was about in the Turks and Caicos. Like when Dorinda told Heather that she was acting like a bitch because she felt like Heather didn't want to wait for her when they were going into the restaurant or something like that. And then, you know, we all know about the FU dinner, but I mean, even that I didn't think was enough to end the friendship over, you know? So I really don't understand. But like Dorinda made a nasty comment about, well, yeah, you're such a good friend swimming in my pool or something like that. And that kind of offended Heather. And then what I really thought was funny in all of this was Heather saying, let me speak. As if you ever have a problem speaking, Heather. You're always talking over everybody. So, I mean, really, I don't know what the argument was about. Either one of the arguments in Turks and Caicos between Heather and Dorinda. All the ladies seem to come to general senses in saying that Dorinda gets angry when she's drunk, and maybe she just has some underlying anger that maybe it has nothing to do with any of them, but when she drinks, you know, she gets really emotional. So that was really all I got out of it. I mean, I don't know what the hell was going on with Heather and Dorinda. Honestly, I have no clue other than Dorinda, you know, likes her dirty martinis. And sometimes she, you know what I'm saying, may let some ladies have it after having a few dirty martinis. Like, I don't know. I think all of these ladies' arguments just stem from them being too damn drunk half the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they, you know, they seem okay when they're sober. They seem to be able to, like, you know, get along and put their emotions aside. But once they have a few drinks, which is pretty much every scene with these ladies, then, you know, then that's when the drama starts. So I really don't think that it's anything to worry about. They kind of discussed the whole John thing and Kristen saying that John was being inappropriate towards her or whatever. But Kristen, I mean, from me looking in, it looked like you were having just as much fun as he and Sonya were having. You remember when Sonya had her party and like Sonya, they were all dancing and like Sonya was behind John and Kristen was in front of John. It seemed like she was having fun, and then at some point she just got tired of dancing with him and she tried to move away. I mean, I don't know, maybe she has like an uncomfortable laugh, but to me it looked like she was having fun. So I mean, I really don't know why, but I really don't think Kristen made that big of a deal out of it during the season. I think that other people kind of made a bigger deal out of it than what it should have been, and I think Kristen was just trying to reiterate, like, look, I wasn't the one bringing it up over and over again and all this and all that, and I don't know, but did you guys hear about Kristen's husband being on Ashley Madison, which is so messed up? Kristen's husband, Josh. My husband showed me an article, like, I guess it was Wednesday morning, I think, on the train or something like that, when we were riding the train to work. And no, it wasn't Wednesday because I didn't go to the office on Wednesday. So it must have been Tuesday morning he showed me the article. And then yesterday I saw like something that Bravo had emailed out, and it was like, because I don't follow her on Twitter. I need to start following Kristen on Twitter, where she said, you know, thanking all her fans for their kind words or whatever. But yeah, her husband had an Ashley Madison account, and then he tries to say that it was like a joke between him and his friends. Like one night, I guess, they were out partying or they were just all sitting around bored, or I don't know what the hell they were all doing. But my thing is that's what men do when they're bored. They go create profiles on dating websites, a website dedicated to, you know what I'm saying, married people having affairs. Like, come on, Josh. Kristen didn't say much in her tweet that she tweeted out. So, I guess they're working it out privately. I mean, they've been married a long time. Kristen even had made a comment on the show in regards to Mario and Ramona saying, if you're going to cheat, like, at least be a little discreet about it or something like that, she has said. So hopefully they're getting through it, and hopefully she, is okay with in the middle of all this. I don't know. I'm sure she's fine. Anyways, speaking of Mario and Ramona, Ramona finally discusses, all the drama that was going on with her and Mario. And you remember last year during the reunion, she like blew up at Andy Cohen saying, I don't want to talk about Mario, please move on or whatever. And she was basically saying that Mario was the one that wanted her to kind of keep everything hush hush. She was trying to work on her marriage, and he was a little embarrassed, I guess, by the fact that he got caught and it was so public and everything. And he didn't want Ramona talking about it on the reunion last year. So she was honoring his wishes. But this year, she's like, fuck it, I'm going to tell what happened. Basically, he's a dirty dog. And then, what was this word? Andropause. I think Heather or somebody said that men go through andropause, which is something like a menopause for women. That's some bullshit, okay? He is a selfish asshole, and anybody out there cheating are selfish. I mean, cheating is just selfish, and I mean, just call it what it is and apologize for it and try to move on. But I guess Mario, Ramona couldn't move on because Mario just continued to cheat with this same woman or whatever, because Ramona's like, they were trying to work on their relationship. She drove out to their house in the Hamptons, and the chick was there. Like, in the middle of, them trying to work on things, he was still messing with this woman. So clearly he wasn't sorry. He wasn't trying to work things out with Ramona. He was just being selfish. And that's all it is. It's just selfish. So they kind of just, Ramona talks about that. She was like, he felt like he was in her shadow, and, he thinks that the show hurt their relationship, which I really don't doubt that being in the public eye, especially in reality TV, when it's not like you're not reading from a script, this is your life. Your everything that's going on is true. It's not scripted. It's just what you're going through. And I can see that like shining a spotlight on an already shaky marriage or whatever. But at the same time, you can't blame the show for everything. The show didn't make you cheat. You know what I mean? The show didn't make your wife, tell you to shut up in the middle of the tennis court. Y'all remember that? That was a long time ago. It probably was like season 3 or 4 or something. But, everybody makes mistakes. And unfortunately, this was a mistake that they couldn't get past, and they are now divorced. And Ramona did release her book, and she talks about a lot of stuff in the book. Oh, she finally admits that she did have a boob job. So, all of that was a topic during this season. Like, did Ramona have a boob job? She's saying she was working out a lot, and that's why they were like looking perky or whatever. But she did finally admit that, she had a boob job. That was pretty much it for like the second reunion show. I mean, they talked about some other things about, like the dress that Bethany supposedly had loaned Ramona or whatever, but nothing really was exciting. So I'm not going to make, I just didn't feel like making like one video on the second reunion. I was planning on it, and then I was just like, it's nothing really to it, So let's go on. Reunion number 3, the final reunion show for the Real Housewives of New York season 7. I thought that this, the reunion that came on last night, I thought that it was very kind of like healing. It kind of put a close to the season, and I didn't have to hear Heather's mouth so much, which I was very surprised and very pleasantly surprised that she didn't talk too much throughout this episode last night, because normally she jumps in, but she kind of shut her mouth. So it opens up with they're talking about Sonia. They're discussing her her clothing line and everything, and how everyone is surprised about her. Everyone was happy for her. They were surprised and happy for her at the same time when her fashion show came together. And Heather says that she had nothing but, she was always nothing but supportive of Sonia. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Heather? You are so condescending towards Sonia. Like, you are nice, nasty with her. Like, you make it seem like you have good intentions, but you really don't. It just seemed like you were mocking her, this season, last season, the season before that too. It just kind of seemed like you were really mocking her. And, and you got called out on it during this episode. Even Bethany said, like, no, you were saying, like, one dress does not a collection make, and just different things like that. And, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Heather at all. I definitely don't like the way she is with Sonia. But, Sonia can be a little delusional. But I just don't know why the ladies are always messing with her. But she can be a little delusional, like when she said that Madonna was outside of her event and she couldn't get in because she couldn't get past security. Sonia, just when I want to be on your side, you say something like this. Madonna couldn't get past security, really. I mean, Madonna brings her own security, okay? And if Madonna was trying to get into your fashion show, Sonia, I am 110% sure that she could have gotten in, okay? Like, I mean, please, come on. I'm sure your people would have been racing to the door to try to get her a seat on the runway. You know what I'm saying? Just so everybody would know that Madonna was in the building, okay? So I don't know where that came from. But you know what? Let Sonia realize her dream. Let her be. And truth be told, if any woman can pay off a $7 million debt with no real job to speak of, I mean, she says she has these jobs. I don't know what kind of job she has. But anybody that can pay off $7 million is a woman that y'all need to be nice to and cool with, so you can get some the tips and the tricks of the trade from her, okay? Because we got celebrities out here going to prison for years because they owe like $2-3 million in back taxes. Yes, Sonia is able to pay off like $7 million in debt, and then she said a couple million dollars in like legal fees, and you know what I'm saying? So y'all leave her alone, because whatever she's doing is working, okay? Let her be as delusional as she wants to be. Sonia, write a book on that. That's what I want to know. I want to know how you paid off that dang debt. Nobody else seems to be even questioning that part. Like, ask her about that. That's what we really want to know. That's what I really want to know. How did you do it, girl? How did you do it? I mean, Wesley Snipes in prison. So many so many celebrities have gone to prison for owing just a couple $1 million. And this woman, where'd the money come from? Is what I want to know. Please tell me. Leave Sonia alone, y'all, because clearly she has her life figured out. And I mean, can you guys pay off $7 million with no job? I mean, she's making money somewhere. Anyways, they move on to Dorinda and Carol being, the widows of the show or whatever. It's kind of how Andy put it. I thought that was a little, I don't know, was it insensitive to you guys? It was the way he said it, like, oh, Carol used to be the only one to wear the title of widow on the show, but now Dorinda comes in, and I don't know. I thought that it just caught me off guard, I think, a little bit by him saying that. But then again, it's Andy Cohen, so he says some crazy mess out of his mouth all the time. So they just kind of talk about the trip that they went on together and just how it is that they've been able to bond over, both losing their husbands, which has to be a horrible experience, like just to lose your spouse in that way. It has to be horrible. Like, I couldn't even imagine anything like that, so hopefully, I won't ever have to have that in my reality. But so they discuss it. You can tell that it seems really, and I mean, you could tell during the show too that it just seems really raw and fresh for Dorinda, even though it's been like a few years or whatever for her that her husband passed away. But I guess like he was just the love of her life, and she really adored him. She loved him a lot, and it's you can just definitely tell she's missing him. But at the same time, she was saying, like, he told her on his deathbed, like, move on. Like, you have fulfilled your duties as a wife. It's to death do us part. Don't feel bad about anything. Enjoy your life or whatever. Dorinda says that the first time she actually met Carol was just like maybe 3 or 4 months after her husband had died. Carol's book, The Widow's Guide, I think it was called The Widow's Guide. I think that's what Carol's book is called, the first one. Came out, and she was having a book signing, and Dorinda went, and I guess Dorinda like treated her like a rock star or whatever, and she was just crying or whatever. It's clear that Carol doesn't remember that happening or whatever. She doesn't, I don't think it just from her face and what she was saying. She doesn't remember that, Dorinda was there or whatever, which is understandable because, she was probably overwhelmed with a lot of people being there or whatever. But, or it could have just been, I don't know, I could have just been misreading the look on her face. She could have just been looking like, can I get a word in? Because Dorinda was just like, talking or whatever, which she kind of does. She goes on and on and on when it comes to her late husband. Like I said, she just has a lot of raw emotions about it seems like. Carol actually cries. And I feel like this is the first time we've seen her cry on this show. She doesn't really like boohoo cry or whatever, but she gets a little choked up when she talks about the experience of, meeting Dorinda and just being happy to be able to get it out because, outside of writing her book, I guess she, doesn't really talk about her late husband that much. And, just being able to relate to someone else going through that, and then someone willing to go to London with her and get the ashes. And she was just very emotional or whatever, which is understandable. So, I thought that was a very nice moment, but they don't waste any time getting right back into the drama. When they come back from commercial break, what were they talking about? I can't really remember what they were talking about, but then all of a sudden Heather calls Ramona out like, Ramona, wake up. Ramona had dozed off. Now, she wasn't in a deep sleep like I was assuming she was in, because you see, before they say anything to her, her eyes kind of open a little bit, but then she kind of closes her eyes, and you do see her face kind of relax. Like she's dozing. She's definitely dozing off. And Andy Cohen gets a kick out of it. He loves it. He's like, that's the first time it's ever happened. Ramona, I guess, was the first person to walk off the set as well before. I don't know if it was last season or it was one of the reunion shows. Remember, she said she had to pee, so she got up. She's like, I really got to use the bathroom. When she was just like doing this, and she just got up, like, I have to use the bathroom. They were like, Andy's like, Ramona, sit down. We're not done. It's not a break time. So anyways, that was kind of funny. Ramona, they laughed, but then they went back into talking about the dang on Turks and Caicos. Oh my God. So what did they talk about first? But no, first they started talking about Sonia, her issues and how all the ladies were saying that she was an alcoholic or whatever. And for the first time, Sonia confronts Ramona. And I'm always like, Ramona is the one that talks a lot of shit. She was the one talking mess the last couple of seasons. Not really talking mess, but, she gossips with the other ladies sometimes about Sonia. And then she tries to keep her nose clean about it. So Sonia finally says, I see that, Ramona was talking about me with the other ladies, and she is just like, Ramona's always the one that's offering me an extra glass of champagne. She's always the one that's trying to get me to stay out later. And, so she does finally confront Ramona, and Ramona, she finally apologizes. She finally apologizes to Sonia. She says that she wanted to tell Sonia about what everybody was saying, but she didn't want to put herself with the rest of the group in saying, yes, I was also talking about you. And she, I guess she said she feels bad after seeing it and feels like she wasn't being a good friend to Sonia or whatever. And I guess Sonia, she loves Ramona, and I'm sure that this is something that that she can get through. But Sonia is basically, just saying, look, I'm not an alcoholic. She was saying she was out of control when they were in Atlantic City. And, Bethany told, I guess when she and Bethany had a talk or something, and Bethany's like, well, maybe you should just lay off the hard liquor or whatever. So she decided that she wasn't going to drink, hard liquor anymore because of the state she was in. So I'm assuming she was taking some kind of prescription pills or whatever and mixing that with the alcohol. The hard alcohol was making her a little, a little crazy, little loopy. And so she always stuck with champagne from that moment on. But I'm like, shit, well, how much champagne were you drinking, girl? Because you was getting toasted. But I mean, champagne can get you messed up, I guess. I don't really like champagne all that much. I just can't do the bubblies. But yeah, so the thing about it is that they all drink a lot. They party, like almost every scene they're having some type of party, and they all drink a lot. I remember, like, what was her name, Jill Zarin, she used to try to say, and then the other ladies too would try to say that Ramona had a drinking problem, because Ramona's fun. She likes to, when they go out, she likes to, saying let loose or whatever. And then when Sonya came on to the show, they started saying that, then they moved over to being Sonya is, alcoholic. And she was a little free with everything. Her actions were a little all over the place at first. But then we understood because she was going through a lot. But, so hopefully, the whole Sonya being an alcoholic is done and over with. And the ladies, are going to move on from that topic. They discussed Ramona in Turks and Caicos with the cock blocking Bethany and Carol with the bar owner. I think it was like the Conch Shack. That's what it was called, I think. Ramona's like, she's not apologizing for it. Ramona's like, Bethany's like, she didn't talk to us for the rest of the night. Ramona's like, I have been looking at you guys for 5 days. Like, I was done talking to you guys. She even said, like, in the episode, like, I was so happy to be around other people than the people that I'm staying with, than my cabin mates or whatever she was saying. Like, she was trying to have fun and she wasn't apologizing for it at all. And she shouldn't either, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Bethany was more upset than Carol was. I think that Carol just didn't like, Ramona moving in on the man that she was talking to at the moment. But like Ramona's like, whatever, it happened and I'm not gonna apologize for it. But then Ramona finally comes clean also about the guy that she brought home the morning, the guy that Heather saw in the room, the naked guy or whatever. She just basically says, we went to a karaoke bar. I guess she and what's her name, Luann, and I think Sonya, they all like ended up going to some bar, and there were a couple of guys there that Luann and Ramona were talking to. They brought them back. They were partying in the house or whatever. The guy needed to go to sleep because he couldn't make it home. Ramona told him to go upstairs, just don't use the bathroom, be out before everybody wakes up. But, the guy didn't follow the rules or whatever. So they kind of talk about that. Ramona finally admits it. She says nothing happened between her and the guy. Luann claims nothing happened between her and the married guy because I guess the other guy was married. But, like, I always thought that Heather was overreacting. It wasn't that serious for her to go off and just go waking people up and going off on Luann and crying about it. And, it was just, it just kind of was what it was. Just let it go, Heather. Just let it go. That was kind of it. Nothing else really happened. They kind of have like a hug fest. Andy Cohen looks a little confused as to why they're hugging. I think Luann and Heather, kind of hug and make up, and then everybody else starts hugging. I don't know what that was about. I think they were at this point just tired and ready to go home. But that was kind of how it ended. I'm so sick of hearing about girl code. Luann made her song about the girl code, saying that they all broke the girl code. It just was what it was. They have a lot of fun together, and honestly, I don't think that any of them have like any deep-seated issues with each other that can't be resolved. I think that they're all just gonna move past this season and still continue to be friends, and hopefully next season Heather won't come back. I'm so sick of Heather. I'm happy, like I said in the beginning, that we didn't have to hear a lot of her mouth throughout this episode last night, and other ladies were able to talk. Sonya was able to get her piece out. Even Kristen was able to get in a little bit, or what she needed to get out. I doubt if she comes back next year. She's just just kind of boring. Like, like I was saying before, it's okay to just be, have a normal life, just living a normal life. But if you're going to be on a reality show, you have to be some kind of entertaining. Like, I don't even think they even had a segment dedicated only to her. Nor do I think they had one dedicated to Heather either. Like, neither one of them really, to me, brings anything to the show as far as entertainment goes. So, just let them off of the show, release them from their contracts, and let them live their normal lives, you know what I mean? Which is fine to have a normal life, Everybody's not that entertaining. Everybody does not need to be on reality TV. So hopefully, well, I'm sure Sonya's coming back. We know Ramona's going to come back. I'm sure Bethany's going to come back. I'm sure, I don't know about Carol. She's, I like her. If Heather doesn't come back, I would like to see Carol back, because I would like to see her kind of step out on her own a little bit and have her own voice. I don't really mind Carol at all. But of course, Sonya, Ramona, I'm sure Luann and Bethany, I'm sure those four will definitely be back. Not sure about the other three ladies. So what else went on? I think that was pretty much it. I mean, I enjoyed this season of New York. Honestly, this was probably one of my favorite seasons of New York. I think that they, for the most part, got it right with the mix of ladies that they had this season. They were all able to party. I really enjoy watching the New York ladies. They don't seem to be, envious of each other. They don't seem to have any type of jealousy towards the other one. They may have their little tips about whatever, but they move past it. Most of it, like I said, is because they're drunk half the time. But they just seem to be comfortable in their own skins. They're not all like dolled up every day. They're comfortable with themselves. I guess that's the New York attitude. Living in New York, I think that, they just have a different type of attitude than some of the other housewife franchises. And I enjoy them. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of the bloopers and things that they edited out next week. I probably won't blog about that, but I'm kind of sad to see them, go for, then we have to wait a whole another year to discuss them. But Atlanta's coming back. My favorite ladies of Beverly Hills are coming back. Kyle is my girl, so I'm looking forward to seeing her this fall. I'm definitely looking forward to Atlanta this fall. It's going to be very different without Nene Leakes on there, and then they're adding some new ladies. I haven't seen who officially is going to be housewives, but I hear Marlo's coming back to shake things up. I hear Sheree's coming back. I hear they have a transgender lady. I cannot think of her name, and excuse me for calling you the transgender lady. I can't think of her name right now. I hear Tootie, what's her name? Kim Fields, I think, maybe on there. I'm hearing a lot of things, so we'll see. And I heard possibly Mariah Huck from Married to Medicine might even be on Atlanta, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing them, and like I said, I'm looking forward to Beverly Hills. I will probably start hearing about Beverly Hills once Orange County is over, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So until next time, you guys, stay real, stay safe, and stay tuned to Mika Chanel Is Just Saying. Bye-bye.